the young and the restless spoilers. Sharon's heart pounded in her chest as she stood frozen in the dimly lit alleyway. The shadows seemed to dance menacingly around her, but it wasn't the dark that had her paralyzed with fear. It was the figure standing just a few feet away, Cameron. She hadn't seen him in years, not since his supposed demise. Yet there he was, alive and very much real. Her initial thought was that it was a trick of her mind, a cruel hallucination brought on by stress and fear. But as Cameron took a step closer, his sinister smile confirming his presence, Sharon knew it was no illusion. She had to warn someone, anyone, but who would believe her? The town already thought she was on the brink of madness. Sharon, Cameron's voice was smooth, dripping with malice. Did you miss me? She recoiled, her back hitting the cold, unforgiving wall behind her. She had to get away, but her legs refused to move. Cameron advanced, his eyes glinting with a predatory gleam. No, she whispered, more to herself than to him. This can't be happening. You always were the dramatic one, Cameron sneered, taking another step forward. But I assure you, this is very real. Sharon finally found the strength to push past him and run. She didn't stop until she reached the safety of her home, slamming the door shut behind her and collapsing to the floor. She couldn't shake the image of Cameron from her mind. She needed to tell someone, but who would listen? The next day, Sharon gathered the courage to confide in her closest friends and family. I saw Cameron, she said, her voice trembling. He's alive. He's here in Genoa City. The room fell silent before erupting in laughter and dismissive murmurs. Sharon, you're just stressed, one friend said. You've been through so much. Maybe it was a hallucination, another suggested gently. No. Sharon cried, frustration and fear bubbling over. I talked to him. He was right there. He's real, and he's dangerous. But no one believed her. They chalked it up to the lingering trauma from her past experiences with Cameron, convinced that her mind was playing tricks on her. Even the police, when informed, seemed to treat it as a delusion rather than a credible threat. Desperation led Sharon to her daughter, Faith. You have to leave Genoa City, she pleaded. If Cameron is here, you're not safe. None of us are. Faith, ever the loyal daughter, shook her head. I'm not leaving you, Mom. We need to face this together. We'll make them believe you. Despite Sharon's warnings, Faith refused to leave. Her determination to stand by her mother's side was both a comfort and a source of dread for Sharon. Cameron was a monster, and if he was truly back, no one was safe. The days that followed were a nightmare. Sharon felt Cameron's presence everywhere. She knew he was watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Her anxiety grew, but so did her resolve. She couldn't let him win. Not again. Then, the unthinkable happened. Sharon was taken. One moment she was walking home, the next she was in the back of a van, Cameron's cold eyes staring down at her. Did you really think I'd let you get away? He taunted. Panic surged through her veins as the van drove off into the night. She fought against her restraints, but it was futile. Cameron had planned this too well. He brought her to an isolated cabin, far from anyone who could hear her screams. Days turned into weeks as Sharon endured unimaginable horrors at Cameron's hands. He reveled in her suffering, reminding her constantly of the power he held over her. The world outside thought she had gone missing due to her unstable state of mind. No one suspected foul play, and that was Cameron's greatest advantage. Faith, meanwhile, was relentless in her search for her mother. She refused to believe the narrative that Sharon had simply wandered off. She knew her mother, knew the strength that lay beneath her exterior. With the help of a few trusted friends, Faith dug deeper into Cameron's past, uncovering clues that pointed to his survival and return. In the cabin, Sharon clung to the memories of Faith and her loved ones, using them as a beacon of hope. She would survive this, somehow. She had to. For Faith, for herself. Every time Cameron left her alone, she planned her escape, determined to outwit him. Finally, an opportunity presented itself. Cameron, growing complacent, made a mistake. Sharon seized the moment, breaking free from her confines and fleeing into the woods. She ran for hours, ignoring the pain and exhaustion, driven by sheer willpower. As dawn broke, she stumbled upon a small town. The locals, seeing her disheveled and desperate state, took her in and called the authorities. Word of her rescue spread quickly, reaching Faith, who rushed to her side. When Sharon was finally reunited with Faith, it was a moment of pure relief and determination. They had won this battle, but the war was far from over.